My name is Demetra Brown. I'm the Senior Director with the DEC Network. First off, I want to welcome you all to our Entrepreneur Speaker Series. And thank you for joining us on this noontime and as a part of your lunch hour. We're excited to share. We have a phenomenal speaker that's coming to you by way of the Dallas area. And so we've partnered with UNT Dallas and Paul Quinn College to curate a series of events to really speak to emerging and established entrepreneurs. And so throughout the series, we will have 4 discussions this fall. And for our first discussion, we are excited to have Victor Johnson joining us as our featured guest speaker. And so I'd like to take a time to just tell you a little bit about Victor. But before I do that, I want to make sure you are aware of the DEC Network as well as the DEC at Redbird. The DEC Network is an organization that provides mentorship, entrepreneurial learning, convening, and community for entrepreneurs right here in the North Texas market. Additionally, the DEC at Redbird is an incubation hub as well as a co-working space located directly in the Redbird community. Through the DEC at Redbird, we partner with our partners at UNT Dallas and Paul Quinn College to not only develop events, but to make sure we are accessible as a resource for emerging entrepreneurs, as well as established entrepreneurs looking to start and grow their business. So one of the things you'll have access to at the end of this event is an opportunity to continue to connect with us at the DEC and also to connect with Victor. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Victor and share a little bit more about him. Victor spent over 20 years in leadership roles in the debt collection industry. Previously as a director, Victor was responsible for recovering more than $100 million in debt. While having a mountain of debt himself and poor credit, with the right habits, he was able to change all of that and his trajectory. Through tons of hard work and support, he eventually transformed that life into a 7-figure rental property portfolio. And he now maintains a credit score above 700. Victor is an author and established speaker. He wrote a book called Proven Pathways to Wealth and Happiness, which outlines the exact steps that allowed him to accomplish the success of over a 5-year period. Victor has also mentored dozens of employees, entrepreneurs, friends, clients, and family members through their personal credit and entrepreneurial endeavors. Victor became a speaker because he wanted to help other individuals understand financial mobility and financial access. So without further ado, I'm going to pause here and hand it over to our speaker, Mr. Victor Johnson. Victor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so very much. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Getting all right. Good audio coming through, Demetra? All right, good stuff. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I am Victor Vanico Johnson. You can call me Vic. I prefer that. I'm fine with that. So to get the ice going, get the icebreaker moving, I'd love to play a quick game. And those of you that are out there that have been doing this whole distance learning, virtual learning now, you may be familiar with a platform known as Kahoot. And Kahoot is basically an interactive game. I'm going to ask you 5 quick questions. You can gain points from your answers, but you will need a secondary device. So if you could use your laptop and tablet to look at this screen here, because this is where the questions are, but grab your phone if you have that capability, because I'm going to ask you to use your phone to answer these questions. So you'll need both devices. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here now, and we're going to see if everything works the way it's supposed to. Oh, we're looking good so far. Love it, love it, love it. All right, you should see my Kahoot screen. I am getting ready to set it up. Hopefully that music isn't too loud for you. But what you would do is go ahead and grab the, let me change this volume a little bit loud, sorry. So what you do is, again, type in kahoot.it, and then you will use this game pen. I hope there are a few people that can participate. We can get at least 3 or 5 of you in there. It makes it so much more fun. It's competitive. Again, these questions you should be fine with. But if you have the ability to grab your phone and also use your laptop or tablet to view this presentation, that would be great. And I'm only going to give it another 30 seconds because that lets me know if there are people able to participate. I got 1 in there, E, very good. If we can get 2 or 3 more, that'd be great. If not, all right, Candy, thank you so much for participating. This is a fabulous tool. Hopefully your kids are already seeing this in their with their teachers and whatnot, or even college students. We've used it for our program. But if I can get maybe 1 more, I know my assistants out there, Frank, if you want to jump in, Arthur, thank you so much. All right, very good. So I want to be respectful of time, and we're going to go ahead. Detroit player. Oh, man, I bet you got a nice little brim on right now. All right, here we go. I'm going to jump in here. And again, if you have the ability to grab a phone, you still can participate. Sweet. We got 5, 6. Cool. All right, here we go. First question. This is, again, just to get the ice going. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, this is a poll. Which school do you attend? You part of the Paul Quinn College, University of North Texas. You heard about this event through social media, or you snuck in here, man. What's going on? All right, which one do you attend? I just want to get a litmus test for which university. If you don't attend either of these schools, that's fine. Select one of the other options. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're going to move to the next. Paul Quinn, 60%. Are you already an entrepreneur? Right. So yes, no. I have side hustles, but no business license. Oh, I thought this event was making entrees. This is not a cooking class, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure you're here for the right class. This is an entrepreneur class. Got 3 answers. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'll give you 20 seconds with these. All right. Very good. Very good. Good. Nobody snuck in. That's great. All right. How long have you been an entrepreneur? Business license or not? So did you start a business before the age of 18? Have you started a business in the last year? What about less than this last year? You know, with COVID, a lot of people are sudden entrepreneurs. And are you just getting started with your idea? All of those are fine answers. Okay. Very good. All right. And then we got one more question. I'm going to jump into our presentation here. And you would just type a word, one word that you think about when you think of what it means to be an entrepreneur. One word. Just type in any word that you think about when you think of being an entrepreneur. Is it money? Is it success? Is it hard work? Is it labor? Anybody out there have an answer for one word that you think of, or what do you think it means to be an entrepreneur? What do you think it means to be an entrepreneur? And we're going to unpack all that here in just a second. All right. It's good stuff. Thank you for those of you that participated. This is cool. Freedom, boss, last year, word, started to go, started the year. This end here. Let's see what the podium shows for our winners. 3rd place, E. Good job, E. 2nd place, D. That's for the brim. 1st place, Lex. If you would, I would love for you to either email Demetra and the Deck Network your contact information. You're going to get an autographed book, Proven Pathways to Wealth and Happiness. Thank you for participating. We'll do this one more time towards the end of the presentation. All right. So let's do this. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint slide now and go into some real content about my journey as an entrepreneur. And I'm telling you, it has been some ups and some downs. You always hear about the good stuff, but we're going to share with you today the real stuff about being an entrepreneur. So again, beyond the buzz, what does it really mean to be an entrepreneur? Well, I pride myself on being a serial entrepreneur. This is who I am today. I'm a published author of my book, again, Proven Pathways to Wealth and Happiness. I talk about my journey, how I had horrible credit, and I was living check to check while I was a director for a collection agency. Talk about irony. So I'm teaching people how to collect all these hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, but I'm also going home avoiding bill collectors calling me. For a long period of time, that was my lifestyle. So my book talks about these specific things that I did to change, improve my credit. I'm a serial entrepreneur. We own more than 7 rental properties across 3 states. And I have 3 companies that I am heavily involved with being the leader of. I'm also a certified credit consultant, money coach, speaker, online course. I'm an entrepreneur, baby. This is it in the flesh. And on any given day, I could be performing any one of those jobs. But I do want to be out there like, man, this dude is doing too much. How can he even deliver quality in all of these particular positions? Well, there's congruence within every role that I have. So what does that mean? Well, I'm a money coach. So people that want to become real estate investors do need to have some money invested. So I can always work with them on how they can budget better, things they can do to reduce their expenses, all of that kind of stuff. And so as a money coach, it's very important that I'm able to teach people how to build wealth, and real estate investing is one of those ways. Obviously, as a credit consultant, people run into credit challenges when they're looking to buy properties or start companies or leverage even business credit. Your personal credit will come into play. So I'm actually benefiting my clients because I have that expertise of 20 years in the credit industry, and I know how to improve people's credit scores. And then you see at the bottom here, I'm a certified notary signing agent. Well, last year, I realized during running my company, Nico Down Projects, which is a service-based business that helps people with money. So during the holidays, a lot of times people ain't really think about, I need to be budgeting better. I need to put my money to work to invest in a rental property or something. So I found myself looking for additional income streams to continue to eat during the holidays. So as a Texas commission notary, I actually researched and knew that I could become a signing agent. Well, I've done multiple real estate closings, so I understand the documents, and I took a course to help me. And that's one of my other jobs. So when I'm slow with clients, I can on many closings, especially with real estate interest rates so low right now. So again, as an entrepreneur, don't close out all your other skill sets, but make sure that there's some congruence, that they all kind of tie into each other so it makes not running rampantly. All right. And we'll talk about some other things that you can do to become successful, even though you have multiple titles. So what is an entrepreneur? The definition, according to dictionary.com, is a person who organizes or operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risk. And I'm sure most of you have experienced that if you are an entrepreneur, or if you're venturing into it now, you're going to learn that your personal dollars will take a suffer or a hit unless you have investors or sponsors. And again, we'll dig into that here a little bit more momentarily. So when you're floating through Instagram and Twitter and you look up entrepreneurs, this is what you see. Very confident, wearing nice suits, they blinging, look J&B, looking all good. You got my man Mark Cuban, Elon Musk riding nice cars. This is the typical image of what a is. And you can really put yourself in a depression if you're just scrolling through Instagram or on social media and you see all these entrepreneurs like, man, a year ago, this person was broke and all of a sudden they're a multimillionaire. Like what? Okay, yeah, that's what the typical images are. Reality is, this is what it feels like being an entrepreneur. Maxing out your credit cards, exhausting your funds, your savings, trying to build this business that one day is going to be a huge hit. Somebody will buy it for an ultimate price and you'll go off into the sunset and live on the beach of Greece. Well, in reality, this is the daily grind right here. You know, being frustrated, running into obstacles at 3 a.m. in the morning, clanking my head on a laptop, maybe not literally, but that's how I felt. That's the feeling that you get. And you just want help. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you feel like I have the money to hire somebody to do this or that. But it's very important that you start building those team members if you're going to grow your business. So this is what the reality of it is. Now, I'm going to show you how you can make a combination, easing out of this and being closer to the successful images that you're seeing. So this is for the last 25 years. I know what you're thinking. Man, this dude looks so young. Thank you so much. I'm 46 years old and I drink a lot of water and I exercise. And I don't have a slide in here that talks about health. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you better take your health very seriously. Get adequate rest. Drink good water. Make sure you're putting good nutrients into your body because that's all you got. You don't always have investors, so your body is going to be the thing that you're going to have to rely upon. And a lot of times you're going to have to rely upon it more than normal, especially more than you would on an 8-to-5 job. So in my 25 years, 11 companies I've started. I'm talking about actually started with a business license. And 5 of those I would consider financially successful. And I'm measuring success in this example based on my company's profitability versus the dollars and time invested. Entrepreneurs, make sure you are measuring your time, not just the dollars. If you spend 20 hours working on something out of 24, You just exhausted a day. Was there something else you could have done to make money that day? So you've got to make sure you're calculating your value as well for your time. So let's look at this a little bit deeper. So this infographic here, and I won't read everything, but basically one thing I do want you to see is that there was failure, success, failure, success. And now I'm in another venture with some other gentlemen. This one will most definitely be successful, but it's too early for me to gauge. So if you look over to the left where I have companies that I've started, and you'll notice Nicodon Projects, which is my current company. Version 1, I was an event promoter in Atlanta at 21 years old, throwing parties in Atlanta, and it was actually successful until I ran out of money. So, and again, I'm measuring success in this example based on financial gain. So I don't account for the knowledge that I gained, the experience, the relationships that I built that actually benefited me in future business ventures tremendously, right? But on this particular venture, I ran out of money because I didn't understand about sponsorships and teams and partnerships and things like that. Then a year later, I started a barbershop. No, I'm not a licensed barber, but I partnered with a couple guys that had their license. And I also had the relationships that I built from a year before being an event promoter. And I was able to secure a building that I wanted to buy. So we secured this building. We started a grant program through the Empowerment Zone in Atlanta at that time, where if you started a business in the underserved communities, you would get tax breaks and dollars and things like that. So we did that, but the failure came because the mayor at the time, Mayor Bill Campbell of Atlanta in 1996, was playing with the money in the bank. So they shut the program down. And for a 22-year-old with some young business partners, we only had a few dollars that we were able to put into securing the building, but we lost everything because we depended upon, and that thing flushed down the toilet. All right. So there was a huge failure there. And again, I'm not going to go through each one, but I will share with you one huge success, Nicodon Projects version 2. So because I was an event promoter in Atlanta and I met all these great people, I actually came across a talented group of young ladies named Slick and Rose was the name of the group, R&B singers, early 2000s. And so Neo Soul was very popular, and they ate that up. The crowds loved them. We were able to sign a deal as their manager. We toured Japan. We had an album out that reached number 12 on the charts. To this day, it is 2020, and I still receive royalty checks for the work that I put in with that group. So I have not done anything. I've only recently reconnected with one of the singers, but I have not done any physical work with this company since 2004, and I still get royalty checks for the work that I've done in there. So business owners, be always thinking forward about what can you do now to start generating passive income so that you're not always starting from scratch if something does fail. Okay. All right. And so I'll fast forward a little bit here so I can move in, but I want to tell you about the other successful business, which was becoming a real estate investor. Now with this one, I decided to invest into a mentor, invested dollars by saving money to get that first rental property. And that's what made the difference in that one. I built a good team of qualified people. And that is kind of the theme that you'll start seeing as I go through this rest of this presentation. So as I look through my journey, and it was really fun for me to put this chart together because it made me remember some of the different challenges that I had to go through. And I'm just so thankful for a lot of them because even the failures have allowed me to be who I am today. And I'm extremely satisfied with the life that I have now as a full-time entrepreneur. I make my schedule. I can accept clients when I want to. I'm not in a financial bind. My houses are paid for as far as the rent coming in every month. And I can wake up on the first of the month and look at my phone and know that everything is going to be okay this month. Glory to God. Right. But you may notice that there was Nicodon Projects in 3 different versions. And now is the one where I'm extremely happy with because I was able to now implement all of these lessons into the systems and the teams and the partnerships, all into one thing where I can help people now to become financially successful. So what are the 3 keys to grow and evolve as an entrepreneur? Because you don't want to continue to hear about me. You want to know how can you as an entrepreneur eventually grow into scaling to where in your business anymore, or you and your assistant or two are not the only ones on your team. So the number one thing that I would suggest, if you're going to grow and evolve as an entrepreneur, build an effective team and strategic partners. So for example, I don't pay an hourly salary to my bookkeeper, but I have a bookkeeper that commits about 4 hours a month to make sure that all of my expenses are tracked properly. We use QuickBooks Online, which if you're an entrepreneur, that is a huge, huge tool that could benefit your business. But you do want to be able to track your dollars and your expenses so that you can report everything accurately. You don't want to end up in a situation where you fall behind with taxes or you're overspending because you're not watching the dollars that are going out in your company. One thing I will say that when COVID hit earlier this year and the whole PPP loans and the EIDL grants were offered, many people were not able to take advantage of them because they didn't have clean books. They weren't organized. They weren't able to support the revenue that they generate. So that is a huge, huge thing as an entrepreneur. You've got to find a way to track your expenses. And putting a team of somebody who's an expert at that, who loves crunching numbers, that makes it a lot easier for you. Or if you need legal help, many times as entrepreneurs, we'll kind of skirt on the legal stuff because we don't want to pay an attorney. But there are systems and programs out there that you can use to have access to qualified legal counsel at your disposal. They'll prepare legal contracts for you, review them, all that kind of stuff. But you've got to build an effective team and don't feel like you've got to pay everybody on an hourly basis in order to build that team. The number two thing that I would say is a key to grow and evolve as an entrepreneur would be to build and develop systems. So now we are in 2020 and we have so much at our disposal with this miniature computer right here. Thank God for Apple, right? Because they had a vision 25, 30 years ago that people would be able to run their computers right in their hands. And we are actually living that out today. And with automation, with CRM tools out there, schedule links, I've actually run my business the first 2 years without having any assistance. Over the last year, we have added people to the team to make things more efficient for us. But I was able to manage a lot of that on my own. And of course, with the partnerships that I built, that hiring team members, but I was reaching out to vendors to help me. So make sure you have some automation. Whatever type of business you run nowadays, you should be able to find some type of automation or CRM tool that can help you to develop. And one thing I will say about systems, many people think that they don't work. Well, systems work if you do. You work the system will work. You have to be committed to it. You can't put something in place and then a week later, we're not getting results, we're not getting leads, we're not converting. You've got to analyze that stuff and then make sure that it's effective, which leads me right into number 3 key to growing and evolving as an entrepreneur. You've got to have some accountability measures. So what are those? Set some goals. Be able to establish some benchmarks for your company. What is for the week? How many calls do I need to make? How many sales do I need to acquire? How many new courses do I need to take in order to gain the knowledge that I need to be an effective business leader for my company? Set those goals, track the results, analyze it, and then tweak and adjust as needed. And of course, having team members that can help you with this is very effective because it's hard to be the person that's doing the sale while you're also trying to prospect for new business, nurture and cultivate the clients that you already have. So again, this is why it's important to have a team and have accountability measures. And this is very critical. You must get feedback, not only from the customers that you're servicing, but the team members that work with you, investors that have invested in you, and of course, competition. A lot of times we'll look at competition as I'm not going to talk to them. I don't want to deal with them. They're going to steal my customers. Well, I love competition, especially as a credit consultant. I can't solve everybody's problems. And there's a lot of people that have credit challenges right now. So I'm okay with handing off somebody to a qualified competitor of mine that I know does great quality work, is high integrity, or also other real estate investors that I work with. If I can't service them, I'll pass them off to somebody. Our forte is buy and hold properties. We teach people how to build rental property portfolios. Well, other people are out there teaching fix and flip strategies. I don't teach fix and flip. I like to keep my capital gains, my profits. But there are people who are winning largely as fix and flip real estate investors. And I'm happy to pass off people that are more interested in doing that to those competitors. And so be okay with getting feedback from your competition as an entrepreneur. So as we wrap up, new mindset, new results is what it's going to take for you to get to be a successful entrepreneur, and not only be a successful entrepreneur, but to grow that business. You can't bring a W-2 mentality to an entrepreneur job or to an entrepreneur venture, because as a W-2 employee, we have already systems, teams, accountability is already baked in. So you play a part in that grander scheme of things, but you're not always cognizant or aware of how the big picture makes everything run. You could actually be the bottleneck in your company because you're not doing something effectively, but you don't know it because you don't see how it impacts other departments. But as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a CEO, you have the vantage point to see everything that's happening, and it's your job to make adjustments where you see gaps in your systems. And as soon as something breaks, you've got to laser focus in on what it takes to fix that problem. So here are 3 things to get your mind right. Isolate yourself. I know a lot of people say, well, that's depressing. No, for me, isolation is important. And I do it daily for at least 10 minutes in the morning. Go into a room. I'm fortunate to have another room where I can go in, turn the fan on, turn the lights off, and just meditate on what my day is going to look like. I'm already envisioning where my success is going to be for the day and make it happen when I come out of there. But sometimes you've got to isolate yourself. Look at your cell phone now and look at the last 5 text messages that you've either received or sent out. And if any of those people aren't building you up and they're tearing you down, you got to figure out where they belong in your circle. Because if you're trying to grow and escalate, you're going to need to take out people that don't see your vision, that don't support your vision. Number 2, you've got to be anal about researching your particular subject matter. So go to seminars, go to meetups, go to these type of lunch and learns, reach out to people, be okay with getting a mentor, invest in yourself. One thing you will never lose is money from investing in yourself, because you are a work of art that's constantly living. But be detail focused about researching your topic. All right. And then 3rd, perseverance. I started Nico Don projects 3 times, at 21, at 33, and at 42. And I'm finally successful with this thing. Never give up. Never, ever give up. Be persistent. Fight for your future self. Create your future self. All right. So in closing, I want to give you real quickly something that I do with my college students and other presentations that I do. You've got to affirm who you're going to be right now. 1 year from today, September 23rd, 2021, who are you going to be? And we're not going to say I will be. We're going to say I am. So claim it today. Who is it you're going to be? I am a owner. I am an entrepreneur. I am a real estate investor. I was claiming to be a real estate investor 2 years before I purchased my first rental property. Hey, man, so what you do? Man, I'm a real estate investor. How many properties you got? I ain't got none yet, but I'm a real estate investor. You've got to claim it, and you got to walk into it and step into it. Next, my company generates X dollars per month. Already start thinking about how much money do you want your business to do? $50,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $1,000 a month. For someone who has never run their own company, that's a huge victory. So set some benchmarks and go for it. My available cash is, and I say available cash because you need to have available cash if you're going to do anything in business. You need to have things for supplies, maybe to rent out space or do whatever it is that your business does to get logos, to get your business license. You need available cash to do that. And your credit score is going to come into play. It's going to come into play. Let's not fool ourselves. And I put a 7 here because it shouldn't be anything less than a 700. And I should have put FICO score because Credit Karma don't count. All right. Lastly, visualize your reality for yourself right now. Go ahead and claim who you're going to be and step into that reality now. Okay. Is living a few years of your life like most people won't. so that you can spend the rest of your life living like most people can't. Okay. So that's what I say. Take the leap of faith, up out there, challenge yourself, and do something that can benefit you. And I'm going to jump into Kahoot real quickly. But before I do that, if you need somebody that can help you with credit, with entrepreneurship, rental property investing, I'm your guy, Victor Vanico Johnson. I'm also, a venture that I mentioned earlier on is called Own Your Business Mastery. So I've partnered with 3 other industry leaders in various industries, from brand experts, digital design, marketing. I'm the real estate and finance guy. And we have put together over 1,000 hours of entrepreneurs. And so if you're interested in that, it's a monthly subscription. So you're not paying like $2,500 for a coach. You're paying a monthly fee. I think it's like $99 that they're charging. And they've allowed me to do a discount code for anybody. So you're the first ones that I've introduced the code to. You get 10% off if you decide to do that through the end of the month. So that's that. This is some other information on me if you want to find out more. But we're not done. We're going to do real quickly. If I still got 3 minutes here, we're going to do a quick Kahoot thing. But get a screenshot. I'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We drop financial information, real estate information, entrepreneur information. We just uploaded one earlier this week about business contracts and some things that you can really understand about making agreements with people. So very, very important that you get that. So please take my information. And if I still have about 3 minutes here, Demetri, I'm going to go ahead and share my Kahoot for the final phase of our game here. All right. I appreciate your patience. All right, so let's see here. There it is. All right, so let me see if it'll let me get to the back end of the game here. Again, grab your phones and you will be able to sign in. Kahoot.it. For that first winner, we got you, again, an autographed copy of my book that will get sent out to you as soon as I have your contact information. For this next one, I'm going to give out another book and also a free 15-minute consultation if anybody wants to talk to me about entrepreneurship, credit, or real estate investing. But yeah, so I don't see anybody jumping in. So we will, all right, Hector's in. If I can get 2 or 3 more, we'll do it. Looks like it's 12:33. So I think I still got about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll do a quick question and answer for anybody out there that has questions for me from the presentation. Boy, I love that Detroit player. I got you, man. All right, so here we go. Again, I'm going to slide through these first questions because it's going to be the same ones. But I'll see if it'll let me get towards the back end. I apologize. 1 second. I'm going to keep skipping. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me start towards the back end of those questions. So got to run through these first 3. Okay. Get your phone. You still got time to get in here. Kahoot.it. All right. And so here is our next question. Multiple selections. Out of 11 businesses I started, how many were successful? Create your future self. Out of 11 businesses, how many did I say in my presentation were successful? Was it 2 out of 11, 5 out of 11, 1 out of 1, or they were all successful? No answers? All right, that was an easy one. All right, we got 2 people. Good job. It was, yes, 5 out of 11. All right, Hector and E are already on the board. All right, true. Business agreements should be handled after you start generating revenue. Why worry about business contracts in the beginning? You got to get some money first, right? Maybe, sort of. Business contracts, should you do it before you start generating income or not? Is that true or false? Okay, good stuff. All right. Oh, yeah, Hector, looking good, sir. All right, number 7. Which 3 keys are important to grow and evolve as an entrepreneur? Teams, systems, and accountability. YouTube, Facebook, and IG. good looks, charm, and muscles. How about just having a wealthy spouse? I mean, I don't know. That might be a key. I'm silly, y'all. Forgive me. Let's go. Give me some answers here. All right. And to wrap up, last question. I'm taking a poll. After this presentation, I am more inspired to start or grow my business. True or false? Hopefully I've inspired somebody to start their business or grow their business, really is what I want. Because all of you should already be entrepreneurs. Absolutely. Let's see who our winner is. Frank, when you see the name pop up, if you could get me all three that show up here, please. All right, let's see who our winner is. Da-da-da. In third place, E. Good job, E. Thank you for participating. Second place, Hector, my man. Winner is Tartisha. Good job. Good job. Frank, if you could get those for me. Thank you, runners up, Miss N and Candy. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I appreciate it. Again, we're going to get our first place winner an autographed copy of the book once I have your contact information. So that is my presentation. Again, I'm going to take the opportunity to say thank you to the Deck Network for allowing me the opportunity to, share some of my story with everybody. And hopefully it has been beneficial to you. And with that said, again, I'm going to just share my contact information very briefly again. Feel free to get a screenshot. And Demetra, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor, for that amazing presentation. We were so thrilled to have you speak on this subject because often in our space, we hear so much about starting, but not enough about growing and evolving. So thank you for providing a great conversation around that. Also, once again, thank you to our partners at Paul Quinn College and UNT Dallas. They have helped us to curate these event topics for the rest of the fall. So thank you guys for that and your partnership. We want to answer some questions. One of our goals with this event was to make it interactive, to connect you with an expert so that you can ask some questions. So I believe we have one in already. It says, Victor, how do you know when to move on from a failed business? So Victor, how do you know when to move on from a failed business?
So that's a great one. And so for me, again, having those measurements for where we're trying to go with the company. And as soon as we see that things are not going where they need to, the first systems, was there something else that we didn't communicate effectively within the process we said was spelled out? But then you got to just take action. You've got to be able to make decisions quickly. I'll give you an example. Last year, one of the failures was a company I started with a partnership, Credit Restoration Mentors. It was beautiful from the beginning. One thing I failed to do was spell out exactly what each person's role was. And so when my business partner became too busy, he actually slid his wife in to do a lot of the work that he would do. Well, it started out great, but our personalities weren't great. There was nothing that spelled out what her responsibility was, and things went awry very fast. And so for me, after one meeting, a second meeting, nothing was changing. Immediately, we go to disillusion. So you've got to just be comfortable making a quick decision based on the data that you've put together and the goals that you set for your company. But don't be afraid to make a quick decision.
Thank you, Victor. We have another question that just came in. How do you know how much cash measurements and the question is, how do you know how much cash you will need for your business?
Okay. Well, for me, I measure it based on what a bank would want me to have if I wanted to go to them to get additional funding. Because for you to grow your business, you need to be able to scale, and you scale by using other people's money. So what the banks are going to look for, do you have a good 6 months worth of reserves? What reserves are, if you were taking a loan out from them for whatever amount, can you afford to make 6 months worth of those payments from your own personal financing? Secondly, you'll need to know, can you live off of your business, if your business doesn't generate enough revenue to pay you a salary, can you live for 6 to 12 months off of that? Based on what your current living expenses are, and I always recommend that people make sure you look at that closely first. Are you overspending what your living expenses are today? But once you figure out what that real number is, and I'm not talking about living like a hermit or in a cave, but what a comfortable life is for you, multiply that by 6 to 12 months, then that's the amount of cash that I would say to have available before I just took that leap of faith and stopped working my other job. And the other thing to look at is my company even generating revenue yet? Am I generating enough revenue to where I could at least afford to cover the expenses for the business? That's another key indicator for you to say, okay, I have enough money now and I can make a decision to go full time, or I can grow my business.
Thank you, Victor. That's awesome. Someone asked a question I was going to ask about. How do you get started with real estate? So how did you first get started with real estate investing?
So I've always had the bug in me. I was one of the guys, again, I already told you I'm 46. So I was watching Carlton Sheets videos at 2 o'clock in the morning or in the late 90s, early 2000s. My grandmothers were both real estate investors. So I've always had the bug in me. But where I was actually able to take action, the first thing was I finally had about $12,000 in my 401k. And yes, I did borrow against my 401k to buy my first rental property in San Antonio. And I found out a company that was willing to put money behind, investors to help them with their first deal. And again, I got mentors and I looked at my credit and my personal finances, and I just was able to take the leap of faith because I had the steps, the checklist of things that I needed to do. And so I was no longer afraid. Even when fear was part of my thought process, I just had too many steps to follow for me to let fear stop me. So I just had a true action plan and I was committed to getting it done. And that first rental property deal, I spent $12,000. And 2 years later, that turned into $43,000. So I decided to keep doing it.
Awesome. I think we have a follow-up question to the real estate question, Victor. What company that initially kind of backed you with that investment to get started?
So I went to a company, it was a private lender. So it was a hard money lender, which is basically what it was, just a personal guy that has deep pockets that was like, yeah, I'll back real estate deals. So reach out to me if you're interested in doing that, because now I've built a network of people that will do those type of deals, but it's very much based on the analytics of your transaction. They don't care about your credit. They don't care even so much about how much cash you got. It's really about, is that property profitable? And what you're planning to do with it, is it profitable? So that's pretty much the strategy.
Hey, Victor, someone asked, is it feasible to live in one city and have your business in another? Can you speak to that?
Yes, that's exactly how I run my companies. So I have 3 cities that I run rental properties in: Kansas City, Atlanta, and San Antonio. I have, my business is Nicodon Projects. So I can do my consulting from anywhere. I have clients from California, from Ohio, from Atlanta, Florida, even one in the UK. So again, we're in a time of day where virtually we can work and people are comfortable meeting like this. And still, as long as they can see you in the eyes and kind of get a feel for your character and research who you are, I can run my businesses anywhere. And I love that. And from the rental property side of it, of course, I go to those cities before we make the initial investment and I do my due diligence. But I have vendors, I've built relationships and teams in each of those cities so that should there be some type of maintenance need, I still can get people to that property within 24 hours to address that situation.
Awesome. We're getting a lot of positive feedback here in the thread, Victor. Great content we're sharing today. Question for you. Do you recommend saving cash for my first rental property, or do you recommend purchasing an investment property through business credit? So saving cash to make that first purchase versus business credit.
So with business credit, you always want to be building your business credit, but oftentimes not able to leverage your business credit as a startup. You don't have enough Paydex score. You just don't have enough activity. You haven't paid enough trade lines in. So it's always recommended that you have some cash. And if you look at something, your funds are a little bit limited. If you have the ability to do so, consider buying a duplex where you can leverage it to live in one side and take advantage of the benefits of a residential mortgage programs and discounts and lender credits that come with that, but you still the house next door, the unit next door. And whether you want them to know you as a landlord or not, you still are collecting the rent. And in most cases, what you'll get financed for that property is enough to cover not only the note, that covers the note for the whole building. So that means also your rent for that building. So that might be something to think about. Again, I know my stuff. Reach out to me if you need some guidance in that area.
Awesome. Thank you. And I see Erica dropped her contact information. She's a real estate agent here in the DFW area. That's a great idea, Erica. If you guys want to drop your contact information, if you are a business owner, you want to share that here in the thread, we totally welcome that. Here at the deck, we're definitely interested in networking and growing the community of entrepreneurs. All right, we got another question for you.
How can I see that?
I don't know if you can. I may have to copy and paste this thread to make sure we don't lose all these contacts for the businesses that are going to share. Sure. We have another question for you, though. How would you balance work, operating a business, as well as time with family? So how are you balancing all of this?
Well, fortunately, my work is my business now. But there was a time where I still had a 9 or 10 hour a day job because I was a director for the call center, actually with Title Max. If you're here in the Texas area, you've heard of Title Max. I used to run the call center up until, last year or a couple years ago. So how I was doing it then was, again, systems really play a big part to being able to manage things. Having a scheduled calendar where if somebody needs to meet with me, they can actually schedule it on my calendar, and I've already blocked out my work hours, so it's not a conflict there. Or leveraging your family and friends, people that support you, that want to see you succeed, send out a post for you that you've already put together, or maybe they can make some phone calls on your behalf. But leveraging those people that support you, and again, managing your time effectively. Some of you are at work now, but you're using your lunch break to start building yourself up to be strong entrepreneurs. This was me. In the morning, lunchtime, in the evenings, I was building my business. I gave my company they needed from me during the hours that they had me. But when I got home, I wasn't going to cheat myself out of where I wanted to be in life and veg out on Netflix and sleep or something. I'm actually working on my business for some hours tonight too. So it's going to take a sacrifice, but be willing to use your family and friends and your support system to help you.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. We actually just have a very timely question here in the chat, considering everything that's going on in our society with the social injustice and racial unrest. So I definitely want to get this one to you, Victor. Has age or racial discrimination been an issue for you as an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. Let me think through. So age played a factor early on, especially during the time where I was working with the city of Atlanta, working to get that funding going. They didn't treat us initially until that first meeting where we came and we had our business plan together. We could project where we thought the business would be in a year, 18 months, 2 years from now. So I'll say to the age factor, if you're young out there, as long as you can step into your knowledge and prove that age is not a factor for you, you've done your due diligence, you've done the work, the experience, you can deliver, then quickly age goes out the window. As far as race, I really could say that race hasn't been a huge factor in my business, except for conventional funding hurdles that people go through. And knowing that me as a Black, I had and my money wasn't right. So I wasn't able to present a bankable package that people wanted to fund, right? So now I would say, though, we all have the ability to make ourselves be qualified for funding. Blackness should not be a factor. In fact, as of this summer, it's probably a huge benefit to you to be of color or be a minority. And I would recommend every business owner out there that is a minority or a woman business become certified as that. So I'm HUB certified, historically underutilized businesses. So that opportunity to be certified by the city, by the county, by the state for contracts with them because I'm certified as a minority business. So now I would say it's actually a benefit to me, and many people that I work with, they're seeing funding now because they are Black businesses.
Awesome. Thank you. We have time for a couple more questions if you have anything, but just a little housekeeping. As you know, the DEC Network, as well as the DEC at Redbird, we specialize in mentorship, convening, i.e. building community amongst entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial learning. So if you are not connected to the DEC Network, I'm going to drop it here in the chat, ways that you can plug in with us. So feel free to connect with us on Instagram or check out our websites. Victor, while we're waiting to see if there's any last questions here, any final thoughts that you want to leave our community with here? Like I said, we have a lot of established and emerging entrepreneurs on this call. So any messaging you want to share with the group before we get ready to close out?
Yes. So I'm very big on accountability. Build a team, a circle around you that is going to be supportive of you. And if you're already a very successful entrepreneur, one thing that you can do is look at ways that you can now branch off and grow other entrepreneurs. Like, what I'm doing here, participating with the DEC network, because once we get to a point, we owe it to those that are coming behind us to give back. So now my life is about service. Once you get to be financially successful, it's got to be about being significant. Being significant means that you can now give to others and inspire others. So that would be my thing, is never feel like you're too good to give back to somebody else. So that would be my message for everybody. Just have a service mentality, a servant mentality, and always be willing to help others that are coming behind you.
Awesome. Thank you again, Victor. This has been a very, just an amazing message. I feel like there were so many nuggets dropped that can be applied no matter what stage you're in your business. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, UNT Dallas and Paul Quinn. We love you guys as partners. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day.